All right, so for those last two sections, this is the first time I'm going to try teaching them together. Normally we take 2 days, one day on 4.4, which is credit cards, and then one day talking about credit card statements. To me, it makes more sense to teach it all together so you can kind of see that connection, how they work together. All right, so we're going to, first thing, looking at computing average daily balances. That's probably the hardest thing that we'll look at today. Depending on how the information is given to you, sometimes those problems are really easy and sometimes they make them really difficult just in how it's presented to you. And then also just kind of looking at the different entries in a credit card statement and how all of those things are used. I think I've asked before, but I can't remember. How many of you actually have credit cards? Do any of you? Just 2 of you? Okay. Okay, so a little bit of vocab. You are not required to pay an entire balance each month. You are required to make minimum monthly payments, and there will be a finance charge for the remaining balance. And then you have deducts money directly from your checking account each time you make a purchase. One of them's, top one's what? Credit cards. And then the bottom one is a debit card. I know there was a question earlier on the difference between them. Credit cards, you can kind of pay for them over time, right? You can buy something, charge it, and then over time pay it back. But again, you're getting hit with usually some pretty high interest rates. So you have to make a minimum monthly payment. Devin and Max, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at a credit card statement when you get those. It will always show you, like, if you make the minimum monthly payment, how long it will actually take you. It takes you like 8 or 9 years to actually pay it off. But if you would make like this much in every month, you could pay it off in 3 years. Like, it kind of breaks it down for you on your credit card statement for you. You get finance charges, so that's finance charges like the interest. But debit card, there's no fees with that because it's just your money, okay? It's being taken directly out of your checking. But make sure you have the money, because if you overdraft your checking, you get hit with huge fees. All right, and then some different kind of legal stuff for you guys. The Truth in Lending Act protects you if your credit card is lost or stolen. Okay, so if you lose your credit card, or your debit card for that matter, the Truth in Lending says that you may be partially responsible if you lose it, but the maximum that you'd have to pay for it is $50. So if people charge on it, the max you'd ever pay is $50. But you are not responsible for any charges incurred after you notify the bank, the creditor. So if you lose your credit card, let them know immediately that you've lost it, because then you're not responsible for anything that happens to it, because you've let them know it's lost, I do not have it, someone else has it. Okay. The Fair Credit Billing Act protects you in case there's any errors in your credit card statement. So don't just assume that the company got it all right, because they're humans also. Okay, people make mistakes. So if you do not have to pay any finance charges or any kind of charges until they've been cleared up. So if you think there's something wrong with it, that they charged you incorrectly, let them know that, and then you can kind of wait to pay any charges on it until everything's cleared up with them. And then the Fair Debt Collection protects you from collectors harassing you or using other means to collect payment. If you cannot pay your bill, contact the creditor immediately. Say you're out of work, you got bills coming in, and you're like, I don't have the money to pay my credit card this month. Let them know that. They will work with you. Okay, but if you just stop paying and don't ever contact them, they will call you, probably quite often. But according to the Fair Debt Collection practice, they can't harass you. They can call you and ask, but they can't harass you. So if you think a company is harassing you for payments, you know, you have some legal action there. But if you can't pay it, you're out of work, whatever, just call the company. They'll work something out with you. Okay? All right. So number 1, Frank lost his credit card in a local mall. He notified his creditor before the card was used. However, later in the day, someone found the card and charged $700 worth of hockey equipment on it. How much is Frank responsible for paying? Why not? Perfect. He's responsible for nothing. He's right. He notified the bank before it was used. So he's not responsible for anything. Number 2, Jane's credit card was stolen. She didn't realize it for days, at which point she notified her creditor. During that time, someone charged $2,000. How much is Jane responsible for paying? $50. Had she let them know before it happened, she wouldn't have had to pay anything. but the maximum that you're liable for is $50. Which is kind of nice to know, though, right? Somebody steals your card, you're not responsible for all that. All right, credit card billings usually done on a monthly basis, right? They'll send you a statement every month. But interest rates, if you guys remember, they're always called APRs, annual percentage rates. So we have to convert them to monthly in order to calculate monthly charges. So, number 3, credit card companies issue a monthly statement, therefore APR must be converted to a monthly percentage rate. If the APR is 21.6%, what is the monthly? I just divide by 12. Yeah. So 21.6 divided by 12 is 1.8. So 21.6, we divide it by 12, 1.8%. That is your monthly percentage rate. So if the APR on a credit card is 18.6%, what is the monthly? Again, keeping in mind that APR stands for annual. So 18.6 divided by 12 is 1.55%. Hard math so far? You okay? Annual to monthly. All right, the average of the amounts you owed each day of the billing period, and it changes due to purchases made and payments made each day. The average daily balance. And that is what can be the trickiest thing to calculate, and that's what we're going to spend a lot of time working on today. All right, but it's the average daily balance. So a couple things. Average, so you add them all up, divide by how many you have, right? We've done averages probably most of your life. You've worked out those. All right, and then keep in mind it says the average daily balance. So if they give you a monthly statement, Lauren, put it away. If they give you a monthly statement and I want to know the average daily balance, what will you have to know about that month? How many days are in that month? Do you guys know how many days are in each month? Some of them have 30. One of them has 28. And some of them have 31. Yeah, you're going to have to know how many days are in each month. All right, so number 5, Rebecca did not pay last month's credit card bill in full. Because if you pay your bill in full, you don't pay a finance charge, right? If every month you paid it off every time you got it, you would never pay that interest rate. Okay, so that's where credit cards can be okay. You earn some credit, you build up that credit score by paying it off. But if you don't pay it off in full every month, that's when these charges, the finance charges, start to accrue. Below is a list of Rebecca's daily balances for her last billing cycle. Because all of the finance charges is based on your average daily balance. Yes?
Credit score is it's bad. You're not supposed to use credit. You're just supposed to use debit and pay in cash. Credit cards are going to debt. That's what the bank wants. You can't go to the bank.
Okay. And I agree. If you can pay things for cash, obviously that's better. But in the grand scheme of life, can you always pay cash for everything? I'm going to buy my house in cash.
That's the one time you can use credit. One time in credit, you can just take out a loan.
Right, but if I don't have a credit score, they're not going to give me a loan. No, they won't. If you don't have a high enough credit score, they will not give you a mortgage.
He says down there you want to have a credit score. You don't want to have any credit.
I disagree.
He said that there is.
That's fine. That's fine. Hunter, that's fine. We can all have our own opinions on that. From my experience in life, and I worked at a bank when I was in college, is that you want a credit score. I mean, you can't even get a credit card if you don't have a credit score. No. Because I don't want to argue, Hunter. So we need to figure out what her average daily balance is. Okay. So for this one, this is one where it's the way it's set up, it's actually fairly simple to figure out. Okay. Later on, like the last example we do in the notes today, is where it gets a little more complicated. But they're telling us for 7 days, she owes $456.11. For 3 days, for 6 days, 9 days, 5 days, and her balance changes. Why does it change as the days go on in the month? Why would it change? What's happening? Max, are you seriously sitting there right now and coloring on my desk? Is that a wise choice? You will clean that when we are done today. Why does her balance change as the month goes on? Amanda? Yeah, she's buying things, or she's making payments on it, one or the other. Okay, so it's going to change throughout the month. All right, so what we need to do is find her average daily balance. So for 7 days, it was $456.11. So we have to do 7 times that amount. All right, for however many days that was her balance, we have to multiply that together so we can get all of the days. All right, and then we're going to add to that for 3 days. This is how much she owed, $1177.60, plus for 6 days, $990.08. For 9 days, it's $2115.15. For 5 days, $2309.13. We need to figure this out. So you have to first look at how many days that was her balance. And again, I want to kind of really point that out to you because we're looking at an example later that's not broken down as nicely as this is. Okay, so her balance, how many days it sat at that specific balance, we're going to have to multiply those together and add them all up. All right, so this is one of those things you can just literally type the whole thing in your calculator at once. This is something you should be trying on your own right now, not just sitting there staring into space. All right, so when we multiply all this stuff together, you get $43,248.05. Does she owe $43,000? No, she doesn't owe $43,000. How many days? We have to add them all up and divide by how many, right? We have to divide by how many days this was. Well, how many days are we talking? They listed them right there for you. So that's 10, yeah, 30 days. Now, if I tell you just what month it is, you're going to have to know how many days are in the month, okay? Which is different than how this is set up. All right, so then we're going to take that amount, we're going to divide it by 30 to get the average daily balance. So on average, she owed $1,441.60. Because the way it works is your credit card takes your average daily balance for the month, and they charge a percentage as your interest rate. That's how they figure out how much your finance charges are that month. So that's like one of the first things you have to know is what is that average daily balance. Questions on how we did that? All right, so let me give you guys a minute. Try this one on your own. All right, going through here again, you're multiplying 6 times the 500 plus 4 times 350, 26, plus 7 times 568, 45. 8 days was 480, 34. And 6 days was 649, 90. Again, you can type all of that in the calculator all at once. We're going to get 16,122.31. Then we have to divide that. How many days are we talking? So there's 10, 17, 25, 31. We divide by 31 because we were talking 31 days. So their average daily balance is $520.07. Did we do okay? Awesome. All right, so finance charges are not charged if in the previous month the revolving credit card bill was paid in full. So if you used your credit card, you bought some things on it, as soon as you get your bill paid off in full. A lot of people I know do that because they're trying to earn like bonus miles and things like on credit cards, you know, they get cash back. So like I knew a teacher I used to work with in Finley, he paid for 2 full first-class airline tickets for him and his wife to fly to Hawaii by just using his credit card points. He, like, for 3 years used his credit card to buy everything, pay every bill, get groceries, everything they purchased, and every month they just paid off the credit card bill because he earned a ton of points. And then they flew to Hawaii for free, first class. So if you have the money and the willpower to just purchase what you need, that you can still pay it off, it's a great idea. You got a free trip out of it. Okay? So if you pay it off in full, though, no finance charges. But the first time you don't pay it off in full, then you get those finance charges added. Okay, so if it's not paid in full, you get a finance. You take your monthly percentage rate and you just multiply that by your average daily balance. Monthly percentage rate, which we found, right? They give you APY, you have to divide it by 12 to find the monthly. Multiply that by your average daily balance, which we just practiced. So the two things we just worked on, they get used together. Monthly percentage rate times the average daily balance. If you look on your green sheets that you're allowed to use for your test, right at the top it says credit cards, monthly interest rate converted to a decimal times the average daily balance. So it is on here, that formula. Okay? So Rebecca, from example 5, pays a finance charge on her average daily balance of $1441.60. Her APR is 18%. So what's her finance charge for the billing cycle? Okay, so that we just found before her average daily balance of $1441.60. Her APR is 18%. So what's the first thing we have to find? Good. Convert the 18. We have to divide that by 12 to find the monthly. 1.5. And you'd think, you're like, oh, 1.5%, that ain't bad, right? But every month, that's what they're going to charge you interest rates. So we're going to take then her average daily balance, right? This was her average daily balance. And we're going to multiply that by 0.015. That is her monthly interest rate. Obviously, we always convert those to a decimal when we multiply them. So 1441.60 multiplied by 0.015. So that month, she's getting a charge an extra $21.62. You might think, 20 bucks, that ain't that bad. But what happens the next month? And the next month? And the next month? Every month that you keep a balance on your credit card, they charge you another fee. Every month. It's your average daily balance multiplied by your monthly interest rate. Okay, it adds up over time. Questions here? All right, so Sunny had these daily balances on her credit card for her last billing period. Since she did not pay the card in full the previous month, she will have to pay a finance charge. The APR is 19.8%. So they gave us kind of her breakdown of what her balance was for so many days. So first thing is, what is the average daily balance? So just like we did on the previous problem, we need to calculate that. So we're going to have to do 5 days. Her balance was $354.59 plus 10 days. It was $789.64 plus 3 days, $1246.54, and 11 days, $654.83. Now, why does she only have like 4 sets of numbers versus other ones we looked at, there was a lot more numbers? What's that tell you about her spending abilities? Yeah, she doesn't spend it much. She doesn't use her credit card often. So she would have used it only, what, like 3 or 4 times to have those different daily balances? All right, so 5 times 354.59 plus 10 times 789.64 plus 3 times 1246. 54, I couldn't read my own handwriting, plus 11 times 654.83. So when we multiply and add all that stuff together, we get $20,612.10. We have to divide that by how many days? What? 29. How do you have 29 days? When does February have 29 days? On a leap year. Yeah, so we're looking at 29 days. Must have been February on a leap year. So divide that by 29. So her average daily balance is $710.76. Which makes sense. If you kind of look back up there, I mean, she's as low as $354, but she's all the way up to $1,246 at some point too. So she's kind of ranging in there. So then what is her finance charge? In order to figure that out, what's the first thing I have to find? Her what? Good, her monthly rate. So 19.8 divided by 12. 19.8 divided by 12. It's 1.65%. That's her monthly rate. So then we take her average daily balance, 710.76, and multiply that by 0.0165. So 710.76 times 0.0165. So her finance charge for that month is $11.73. That's not bad. But she's got a lower balance. She only owes on average $710. That's not terrible. What happens is people get those credit card balances of like $20,000 on them. That's when you get into a world of trouble. That's not a terrible one. Oh, what, Riley? So don't get a credit card. If you know you can't afford stuff like that, just don't. All right, so what information does a credit card statement give you? So every month they're going to send you this statement that kind of talks about everything that's going on with your account. Okay, so an amount of time used for calculating your credit card bill, most are 1 month. That is called your billing cycle. Now, typically they do not start like October 1st to October 31st. Typically they start like mid-month to the next mid-month. The more difficult average daily balances I'm going to ask you to figure out for me today, I'm going to start at the beginning of the month and go to the end just for the ease and knowing how many days we're talking about. Okay? You know that off the top of your head? Good, but it's not the first to the end, right? Good. And I'm going to guess you know that because of how much data, so you know when it's going to come back. What were you going to say? The 14th to the 13th? Isn't that weird, though? I know your cell phone ones, though, that's based on when you bought your phone and when you signed up for the plan. That's when that's based off of. All right, a summary of your credits and debits for the month sent to you by the credit card company. Always read your statement carefully because you can dispute any errors. That's just your credit card statement. They'll send that to you every month. Depending on how you set it up, it will either come in the mail, like an actual piece of mail, or you could get it electronically. So it just depends on how you set it all up. Now, a lot of vocab. So let's just kind of read through it, make sure we know what everything is, and we'll just kind of talk about what all every piece is. So you're going to have an account number. Every credit card has a unique number. I'm sure you already knew that. It will tell you your credit line. A credit line is the maximum amount that you could owe, or in other words, the maximum amount that you could charge. Like I know when I first got a credit card when I was in college, I think I had a credit line of like $2,000. Like I could not charge more than $2,000 on it. But you know, it's funny, as time goes on and you make your payments and you prove that you're a good person with a credit card, my credit line kept going up and up and up. So they're trusting me to borrow, in essence, more and more money. Is that necessarily a good thing? No. I liked when it was lower because then you're like, oh, I can't use my credit card. Don't have any limit on it left, right? But you could always call the credit card company and be like, hey, can you lower my credit line for me? And they will. Okay, that way you don't be tempted to max out more than you probably should. Available credit is the difference between the maximum amount that you can owe and the amount that you actually owe. In other words, your available credit, how much more could you charge before you hit your maximum? Okay. Your billing date, that's the date the bill was actually written. And then there's a payment due date, the date that your payment must be received. So you're going to see two dates on there. The day that they actually made your bill and printed it versus the day that your payment is due. You'll have all your transactions, so they will list all your purchases and the date they were made. This is a big thing, guys, that I would look at when you get a statement in the mail. Make sure that you're looking at this going, did I actually make those charges? Or did somebody swipe your credit card number at some point and use your card? Okay, so always look at those. Debits and credits. Debits are amounts charged to your account. Credits are payments made. So same with our checking account, which we've already done that chapter. It's going to tell you your previous balance, how much you owed after the last bill, and then the payments and credits, total amount received by the creditor. So it'll show you like last month you owed this, you made this amount of a payment, and then here's your new balance. So it's going to just show you what you did last month. And there's more. It will show you all your new purchases. So it will give you like the total of they gave you like every single thing that you purchased, and then it's going to give you your grand total that you spent. It will tell you any late charges. So if you are late, even by a day, paying your bill, they will charge you a late fee, which is usually like $20 or something. Finance charge, the cost of using the credit card. So how much interest, right? We just talked about computing those. Your new balance, the amount you currently owe. Minimum payment, the lowest payment that they will take. Should you only pay the minimum? You really shouldn't, guys. You will like never pay off that credit card because every month they're going to keep charging you more finance charges. So always try to pay more than what they tell you to pay. Bless you. Average daily balance, we just figured that out. Number of days in your billing cycle. So it will tell you how many days, right? We just kind of added up how many days we talked about to know if it was like 30, 29, whatever it was. It will give you your APR, which is your yearly interest rate, and it will also give you your monthly periodic rate. So APY divided by 12. Okay, a lot of stuff. So here's an example of a credit card statement. And just so you can kind of look at where all the things are that we just talked about, all those terms. Right, so if you look, it's going to have your name, it's going to have your address, your account information, it will have your account number. Okay, it's going to give you your billing date and your payment due date. So this billing was mailed on the 23rd, but it's not due your payment until February 2nd. Okay, it's going to give you all of your transactions. It will give you the date. It will tell you where they were purchased, and it will give you the amounts of them. All right, notice on January 21st, it shows a payment. So it says you're going to subtract $75. So because you're subtracting your payment because it's coming off of how much you actually owe. Down at the bottom, this is the parts we are going to work on filling in. Part of the next project piece that you guys are doing is you're going to be purchasing a car and making payments and dealing with a credit card in the next part of the project. And one of the things that you're going to have to do is come up with different purchases for your credit card, and you're going to have to fill in all of this bottom stuff. Okay, that's where it gets a little tricky. All right, so you're going to you have previous balance, so what you owed at the end of last month, any payments that you made, whoa, didn't even touch my board. All of your new purchases, everything that you bought over the previous month. If you have any late charges, it will tell you what the finance charge was, so you're going to have to calculate all of this stuff. The new balance, minimum payment's only $20. Should you pay $20? No, you should pay more than that. I would aim for at least 50. Okay. Average daily balance, so that will part be on here. How many days are in your billing cycle? The APR, and then your monthly, so dividing that by 12. So all of this is given to you on a credit card statement. I'm going to make you calculate a lot of it, though. Okay. Oh, also, I just can't see it down here. Your total credit line. So on this one, they could charge up to $8,000. Total available credit, it's only $7,600 because, I mean, they already have some stuff bought on here, right? Their new balance. But they could still charge upwards of $7,600. Shouldn't, but they could. All right. So add all new purchases for the billing cycle. That will get you your new purchase amount. So new purchase amount is add all new purchases for the billing cycle. The previous balance minus any payments or credits, plus all your transactions, plus your late charge, plus your finance charge, is going to give you the new balance. And again, these are all things you're going to have to find and calculate. So I tried to break it all down for you. And then how much more money can be charged to your account without going over your credit line? That's your available credit, which is the credit line amount minus your new balance. So I try to break down some of the things on here for you so you know kind of where to go to figure out all of these different numbers. Which I'm happy that a lot of you don't have a credit card yet, but I'm also sad because a lot of this doesn't mean much to you yet because you don't have that experience of what a credit card statement looks like and what it feels like to pay every month. All right, so Pascal has a credit line of $15,000 on his credit card. His summary looks as follows. How much available credit does Pascal have? So what do we have to figure out? What should we do to start? Amanda. Okay. Yeah, we should probably find his current balance, right? So if his previous balance was $45.98.12, payments and credits, what are you going to do with that number compared to what he did owe? We're going to subtract that because he's paid that much off. So we're going to subtract his payments and credits. What am I going to do with the new purchases? That gets added back on. I should maybe use a different color so we can see if it's better. Subtract there. We're going to add that. Late charge. Late charge gets added on to how much you owe, unfortunately. And a finance charge, that gets added on. So the only thing that gets subtracted from those balances is the payments that you've made. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the math on that. So $45.98.12. Made a $4,000 payment, which is good. But then he charged another $1368.55. Didn't make the payment on time, so he has to pay another $20 in late fees, and has a finance charge of $578. So the new balance would be $1992.45. Did I answer the question? No, I found his new balance, but the question asked how much available credit does he have? So how do I find that? Yeah, he can borrow upwards of $15,000, and he's already borrowed $1992.45. So just subtract to figure out how much more he can, bless you, he can borrow. It should be $13,007.55. Should you look at that and be like, whew, I'm going to go buy a car? No, Nathan, no. He's like, yep, I'm totally going to max that thing out. No, just because you can use it to spend that much doesn't mean you should. Now, obviously, life kind of throws things at you sometimes, and sometimes you get in a spot where you don't have money and you got to do it. But try not to, okay? Life lesson, try not to. All right, number 10. Shelby has a credit line of $1,000 on her credit card. She had a previous balance of $545.60 and made a $150 payment. The total of her new purchases is $239.56. What is Shelby's available credit? Is this much different than the last problem we did? It's not much different. It just is set up a little differently. Okay, so we started with last time with her previous balance. So 545.60. What do we do with payments? We subtract them because we're subtracting off of how much we owe. So we're going to subtract the payment. New purchases, what happens with those? They get added to how much we owe. So 545.60 minus the $150 we paid off, but we spent another $239.56. So I get 635.16. What did I just find? Her new balance. This is the new balance of what she owes. But the question asked me for how much available credit does she have? Well, her credit line is 1,000. So 1,000 minus the 635.16 will give me how much available credit she has, which is 364.84. I heard somebody whisper. You guys afraid to talk to me today? Am I scary? I might. All right, so that one's set up really the same as the last problem. They didn't put it in a pretty table for you. All right, Alex has a credit card with a line of credit at $10,000. That's frightening. He made the following purchases. So they listed all the things he purchased. What is Alex's available credit? What do you want to do with that? Amanda? Perfect. So yeah, so Amanda's like, well, let's just add up all of these, right? We're going to add all of his charges, see how much he spent. What was that? That's on the second line there. So all the charges that he made, double check what I got versus you. I have 43, 44, 99. Confirm. Okay. So then to find his new credit limit, or how much he still has available, we'll do 10,000 and we'll subtract that from it to figure out how much he still has available. So 56, 55, 01. All right. We have one left, and it's a doozy. It's where I'm asking you to find all the parts and pieces of that credit card statement. All right. Make a note, highlight, star, whatever you need to on this last example, the very last page of your notes. You are going to have to do this in your next part of your project. Okay? You are going to have to do this on your own. All right, so putting all of it together. Now at the top I gave you the minimum payment is 4% of your new balance. Depending on your credit card agreement, when you sign up with your credit card, they will tell you, and all that lovely reading paperwork that you get that most people probably don't read, they will tell you what percent your minimum payments will be each month. Okay, so that varies from credit card to credit card. For me, I just picked, we're doing 4% on this one. Could be 3%, could be 5%, somewhere in between. Okay. All right, so let me make this smaller because that's going to drive me crazy. Oh, it doesn't want to move like I want it to move. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay. So putting it all together. So we have an account number. Payment due is October 10th, and we have all kinds of things through September. Let's see, it says number of days in billing cycle. It gives us that is 30 days. Billing date is September 30th. So September 30th, 30 days. I am setting these up for you to try to keep them as simple as we can from the first to the last day of the month. Okay, so that's how I'm going to set these up for you. Oh, you got here just in time. Last problem, hardest one, putting it all together. All right, so let's kind of go through and fill in all the things on the bottom that we can know right now. So do you know any payments or credits that were made? Look at the transactions, Amanda. $65, right? It says that there was a payment of $65. Do you know all the new purchases? Amanda? How do you know the total already? What'd you do? Good. Yeah, for your new purchases. So new purchases, she's just taking all these new purchases and adding them up. And what'd you get? That is perfect. The new purchases, add up all the things in the transactions. So $225.09. At any point, if you're not sure what I'm doing, please ask, okay? Please stop me. Finance charge. Wait a minute. How do you calculate finance charges? Look at your green sheet. What's it say? For credit cards, what's it say? Amanda? Okay, so do I know all of that yet? I don't know that yet. Let's kind of bypass that for the moment and let's move on. Do I know the new balance? Didn't we just practice finding new balances? You take your previous balance. What do you do with payments and credits? You subtract them. What do you do with new purchases? Add them. All right, late charge. We don't have them, we add, but wait a minute. You'd have to add on your finance charge too, right? So we can't actually do the new balance yet. Can I do the minimum payment then? No, I can't do that either. Can't do the total available credit. So I still have monthly periodic rate and average daily balance. Can you find the monthly periodic rate? Yeah. Take the APR, divide this by 12. We can do that. It's going to give you 2.05%. So really, before I can do anything else, because I need that finance charge to get my total of my new balance, but I've got to find the average daily balance. All right, so thinking back to the other ones that we did, right? I gave you for this many days, this was the balance. For this many days, this was the balance, right? It's not broken down that way, but could you figure out what the balance was for so many different days? You can. Okay, and this is where it's going to get a little trickier and people struggle a little bit, okay? So what we need to do, how much was the previous balance? Can you find the previous balance? Can you find the previous balance? Yes, your previous balance, how many days did it sit at that balance before I made another purchase to change it? Look at your transactions. When did you make your first charge for September? Let's start there. September what? September 4th, right? The first charge I made was on September 4th. So my previous balance sat here until September 4th. So how many days did it sit there? September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd, and then what happened on the 4th? It changed. So how many days did it sit at this balance? 3 days. All right, so I don't have a lot of space to write up here. So we need to do 3 times 842.53. I just kind of write it off to the side up here. Right, because 3 days it sat at that balance before I made another purchase. Okay, and then on September 4th, I charged $73.29. So what's my new balance? What's 842.53 plus 73.29? It's not a trick question, guys. My next would be $915.82. All right, I just added on the $73.29 to the previous month's balance. How many days did it sit at 915.82 before I made another purchase? September 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Yeah, the 10th it changed again. So 6 days it sat at that balance. And then on the 10th, I made another purchase. Can you tell I was doing a lot of crafting when I typed this up? Went to Joann Fabrics, went to Hobby Lobby. Sorry, I had actually been there the day I made this. All right, so I charged $123.82. So we have to add that on to the previous one. So now we owe $1,039.64. How many days did it sit there before I purchased something else again? I see a 1, I see 2. I purchased it on September 10th. September 11th, it still sat there. The 12th, I bought something else. So 2 days. You got to make sure you're including the day it happened. Okay. Then on the 12th, I went to McDonald's. I charged $6.23. So I'm going to add the $6.23 onto this. So $1,045.87. How many days did it sit at that before I went ahead and purchased something else again? So September 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. Do I count the 20th? No, I made a purchase on that day. So 8 days. Oh, then I made a payment. So what do I do now? Subtract off that 65. I'm going to owe less now. Right, so now I owe $980.87. How many days did it sit there before I made another purchase? September 20th, 21st, 22nd. Right, because the 23rd it changed again. So 3 days. Then I went to the movies. Spent $21.75. What do I do with that number? Add it back on. So $1,002.62. How many days did it sit at that balance? That's my last thing. So until my billing cycle ended, which is the end of the month. I've counted everything on my fingers thus far. Why would you stop now? 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. 8 days. It didn't change on the 30th. That's normally what happens is it changed on that date. That didn't change. It ended the bill. So they're going to calculate from there. Okay? So now it looks like what we did before, right? The hardest part is figuring that out. I highly recommend you count on your fingers. I still do it. And I'm good at math, right? And I still count on my fingers for this stuff just to make sure I'm not losing a day in there. All right, so go ahead and calculate for me. Right, we multiply and add all the way through there. Right, so 3 times 842.53 plus 6 times 915.82 plus, and keep on going all the way through. Now, one thing that you can do to help yourself out, because a lot of you wanted to say 7 on that last day. Does it tell you how many days you should have? Number of days in billing cycle, 30. If you would add up all of these numbers, it better equal 30, because it says it should be 30. If you would put a 7 down there on that last one, it would have only equaled 29. Okay, so that's kind of a little double check against you that you made sure you counted out your days, that you have the right number. All right, so when you multiply, add all that stuff up, you should get 29,432.32. Then we have to divide that by 30. All right, 29,432.32 divided by the 30 days. So what is your average daily balance? No? Nobody? Yeah, wait, hold on. She got 8 cents. You got 9 cents? 0.077? Uh-oh. I got 8 cents. You got 8 cents? 8 cents? Mrs. McCourt had 8 cents too. I checked answers with her this morning. So that is your average daily balance. My guess is something, you hit one wrong key when you typed it in. Be my guess. So your average daily balance was $981.08. All right. Now that you know your average daily balance, you can find a lot more of the info that we couldn't find before. Okay? Can you figure out what your finance charge is now? Green sheet tells you how to find that finance charge. You take your average daily balance and you multiply that by your monthly interest rate. So you're going to do 981.08 multiplied by 0.0205. It's going to give you your average. So your average daily balance times your monthly interest rate gives you your finance charge, which is how much? Good. $20.11. Now, we're doing all this by hand. A bank obviously uses a computer system to figure this out for us. Okay, but it is important that you realize how they're actually calculating all of this for you. All right, so now can you find the new balance? Now we can. Start with your previous balance, subtract off your payments, add on your new purchases, add any late charges, add your finance charges, get your new balance. What do we get? Kevin, you with me? No, Kevin's gone. You thinking about your new snakes? Yeah. Should get a new balance of $1,002.62. You guys good? That's literally just taking this whole line, working all the way through it. How do you calculate the minimum payment? Perfect. At the very top, it told you your minimum payment is 4% of your new balance. So your new balance, $1,262, multiply that by 0.04. So what's the minimum payment you have to make? Good, $40.10. Now, typically a credit card company is going to give you a nice round number. They might just say $40. But for our calculations, we'll be exact, $40.10. All right, the only last thing we have to figure out then is our total available credit. So if my credit line was $5,000, what do I do to find how much available credit I have left? Subtract your new balance. Good. So $5,000 minus my new balance, $1,002.62. So we still have an available credit of $3,997.38. All right. That's a doozy, right? So the hardest part, though, I think, about all of this is finding that average daily balance. It's being able to recognize how many days each balance sat there. Count on your fingers, okay? Don't feel bad about that. I still do it, just to make sure, okay? Questions? You guys have been real quiet and kind of half asleep today. I can't read you. Are we okay? Yes? No? Devin, you okay? You're good? Michael, you good? Tyler? Oh, that's not confident. Did I lose you on all this? All right, on your homework for tonight, I gave you one problem like this. The very last problem on the homework for tonight is one of these, okay? I want you to get some practice because your next part of your project has this on it, where you guys are going to have to calculate all this as part of your project. Okay, so ask questions. If you're not sure how things work, please ask me, okay? I'll be happy to sit down and help you with it. Okay.